Have you ever wondered what shaped Adolf Hitler, one of history's most notorious figures, into the man he became? Our story commences in the year of 1889 in the quaint town of Braunau am Inn, Austria. It was here, in this unsuspecting corner of the world, that Adolf Hitler was born, the fourth of 6 children into a humble and hard-working family. Early in his life, young Adolf showed a strong passion for the arts, dreaming of a future as an artist, a vision not shared by his stern father. The death of his parents, his father when he was just 13, and his mother when he was 18, left a profound impact on him. Bereft of guidance and support, he was left to navigate the world on his own. With his dreams of artistry still burning brightly, he moved to Vienna, the heart of European culture. But Vienna was more than just a city of arts and music. It was a city of contrasts, where the grandeur of the Habsburgs stood side by side with the despair of the homeless and the impoverished. Hitler's time in Vienna was pivotal. As he struggled to make ends meet, he became exposed to a potent mix of nationalism, anti-Semitism, and Germanic mythology. It was during these formative years that he began to develop the ideologies that would later shape the world in the most horrific ways. In the midst of his struggles, Hitler found solace in politics and began to cultivate his gift of oratory. His words, filled with fervor and conviction, began to attract the attention of those around him. This was the beginning of his journey, the first steps towards the creation of a persona that would cast a long and dark shadow over history. As we delve into his life, we begin to uncover the layers that formed Hitler's mind. As we progress on this journey, we'll explore how this ordinary boy from a small Austrian town became one of the most infamous figures of the 20th century. Stay tuned to journey further into the rise and fall of Adolf Hitler. How does a man go from struggling artist to the leader of a nation? That's the question we're left pondering when we look at the early life of Adolf Hitler. In the heart of Munich, a young Hitler was striving to make a name for himself as an artist. However, the world of art was not where his destiny lay. The outbreak of World War I saw him shift his focus from the canvas to the battlefield. Serving in the German army, Hitler experienced firsthand the harsh realities of war, which deeply influenced his political views. When the war ended, Germany was left in a state of disarray, a breeding ground for political unrest. It was in this turbulent environment that Hitler found his calling. He became a member of the German Workers' Party, a small but ambitious political group, which would later evolve into the infamous Nazi Party. Hitler's charismatic speeches and his ability to tap into the frustrations of the German people helped him rise quickly within the party ranks. The Beer Hall Putsch, an attempted coup in 1923, was a pivotal moment in Hitler's political journey. Although the coup failed and resulted in Hitler's imprisonment, it nevertheless marked the beginning of his rise to power. His trial for treason gave him a national platform to propagate his political ideas. In prison, Hitler penned his political manifesto, Mein Kampf, or My Struggle. This book outlined his vision for Germany's future, a vision that was deeply rooted in his belief of racial superiority and his disdain for democracy. Upon his release, Hitler was more determined than ever to rise to power. He worked tirelessly to rebuild the Nazi Party and to gain public support. His propaganda machine was in full swing, capitalizing on the economic hardships and nationalistic fervor of the German people. From the ashes of defeat, Hitler was slowly cementing his path to power. His journey from Munich to Berlin, from struggling artist to the leader of a nation, was marked by ambition, opportunism, and a deeply disturbing ideology. This rise was just the beginning of a dark chapter in human history. What happens when a man with dangerous ideologies seizes control? Let's delve into a period of history where this scenario unfolded in a chilling reality. Adolf Hitler, a man of extraordinary charisma and frightening beliefs, rose to the position of Chancellor in Germany in January 1933. But his ambitions were not satisfied with this position. He yearned for absolute power, a rule unchallenged and supreme. In March of the same year, Hitler pushed the Enabling Act through the German parliament, the Reichstag. This act was a critical step in Hitler's consolidation of power, as it effectively gave him the authority to enact laws without the involvement of the Reichstag. Hitler had maneuvered himself into a position of unchecked authority. With his newfound supremacy, Hitler implemented policies that were to have devastating effects. His aggressive foreign policies and expansionist ideology are considered the primary causes of the start of World War II. His vision of racial purity led to the implementation of the final solution, the genocide of 6 million Jews during the Holocaust, a crime against humanity that still haunts the world today. Under Hitler's reign, the state was transformed into a totalitarian one, where every aspect of life was controlled by the government. Propaganda proliferated, shaping public opinion and suppressing opposition. Hitler's Germany was a place of intense nationalism, military expansion, and racial purification. Yet this period was not just about oppressive control. It was also about the manipulation of hope. Hitler promised the German people prosperity and a return to their former glory. He capitalized on their frustrations and fears, offering them a vision, albeit a distorted one, of a brighter future. Under Hitler's rule, Germany was plunged into a darkness that would leave an indelible mark on the world. This era was a stark reminder of the devastating consequences when power falls into the hands of those with destructive ideologies. It serves as a warning for future generations about the importance of vigilance, understanding, and the courage to stand against such forces. How did the reign of Adolf Hitler, a man of such power and influence, come to an end? A question that has haunted the annals of history, yet the answer lies within the final years of the Second World War. As the tide of the war began to turn against the Third Reich, Hitler found his once unassailable position under threat. The Allies, now united and resolute, were making significant gains. From the east, the Red Army was closing in, while from the west, the combined forces of the United States, Great Britain and their allies were relentless. The grand vision of the Third Reich was starting to crumble. Yet even within his own ranks, Hitler faced danger. There were numerous failed attempts to assassinate him, the most notable one being the July 20th plot in 1944. A group of disillusioned German officers, led by Colonel Klaus von Stauffenberg, planted a bomb in Hitler's conference room. But fate intervened. Hitler survived, further fueling his delusion of invincibility. As the Allies advanced further into Germany, Hitler retreated to his bunker in Berlin. His dream of a 1,000-year Reich was disintegrating around him, yet he clung to power with a desperate tenacity. He issued orders to armies that no longer existed, and ranted about treacheries and conspiracies against him. Finally, on April 30th, 1945, Hitler made the decision to take his own life. This was the man who had held the world in a grip of terror, now reduced to a desperate act in a dank bunker. His death marked the end of an era, the fall of the Third Reich, and the beginning of a new chapter in the world history. The fall of the Third Reich was not just the end of Hitler's rule, but also the end of a dark chapter in human history. The world had witnessed the depths to which humanity could sink and the heights of courage it could reach in its fight against tyranny. In the heart of Berlin, Hitler's reign came to a tragic end. A symbol of power and terror was no more, leaving behind a legacy that the world continues to grapple with even today. What kind of legacy does a man like Adolf Hitler leave behind? As we delve into the aftermath of World War II, we find a world left in ruins, cities razed, nations divided, and countless lives lost. The Nuremberg trials, conducted between 1945 and 1946, sought to bring those responsible for the atrocities of the war to justice, many of whom were Hitler's closest confidants and collaborators. Hitler's legacy is not one of grandeur or honor, but rather a cautionary tale of unchecked power and hate. His name, now synonymous with evil, is etched into history as a stark reminder of the destructive capabilities of one man driven by a warped ideology. The world remembers him not as a hero, but as a villain, a dictator who plunged the world into a war unlike any seen before, and who was responsible for the genocide of 6 million Jews during the Holocaust. But through the ashes of this devastation, humanity found resilience. Hitler's reign, as dark as it was, served to unite the world in their fight against tyranny. It was a global stand against the hate he so fervently spread, igniting a collective effort to ensure such horrors would never be repeated. Despite the immense suffering and destruction caused by Hitler, his legacy has also taught us valuable lessons about the human capacity for both evil and good. We've learned about the dangers of blind allegiance and the importance of questioning authority. We've learned about the resilience of the human spirit and the power of unity in the face of adversity. His reign also led to a significant shift in international relations and policy, with the formation of the United Nations in 1945, aimed at maintaining international peace and security and preventing another cataclysmic war. Adolf Hitler, a man who changed the course of history, serves as a stark reminder of the destructive power of hate and the importance of vigilance in the face of tyranny, a legacy etched in the annals of history that we must never forget.